Looks can be deceiving. Ironically, there's a gold Ankh medallion, the ancient Egyptian symbol of life, resting in the pool of blood. A close look reveals the initials PS inscribed in the back of the bloody Ankh. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Looks can be deceiving. Looks. You're in the ancient Egypt. There's a pool of blood on the floor. There's a pool of... There's a narrow red footprint from a woman's high-heeled shoe on the floor. Apparently the shoe's owner stepped in some of the blood. It apparently belongs to a dainty foot. This placard describes the full translated text on the Rosetta Stone, which still resides in the British Museum. In summary, the text records the decree made at Canopus by the priesthood in honor of the pharaoh Ptolemy III, Euergetes I, who reigned from 247 to 222 BC. The decree discusses the great benefits which the pharaoh had conferred on Egypt and states what festivals are to be celebrated in his honor, concluding with orders that a copy of the decree in hieroglyphics, Demotic and Greek shall be placed in every large temple in Egypt. The card identifies the slab of black basalt as the Rosetta Stone. Hieroglyphs and letters from the English alphabet are clearly engraved on the stone. The Rosetta Stone was found by a French artillery officer among the ruins of Fort Saint-Julien near the Rosetta mouth of the Nile River in 1799. It came into the possession of the British government after the capitulation of Alexandria. The Rosetta Stone, currently on loan to the Dagger Museum, is the key to modern translations of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs into English text. You notice that half of the Rosetta Stone seems to be missing from the display, replaced by a small card that reads, Artifact 310 removed from display for research on 9/1/26 by O.M. A gold Egyptian Ankh medallion with a bit of blood on it. You see the initials PS engraved on the back of the Ankh medallion. Pippin's shirt is immaculate, except for a few streaks of blood. His tie is partially undone, which is something that never would have happened if Dr. Carter had been allowed to notice it. Dr. Carter seems to have suffered a severe trauma to his chest area. The flower is fake. It has no detectable smell. A tube runs from the back of the flower, behind the lapel, down to a squeeze bulb inside the vest. When you squeeze the bulb, a weak stream of water squirts you in the eye. When you reach into Pippin's tuxedo jacket, you find a notepad in his inner pocket. Unreadable words are imprinted on the paper. You pick it up and place it in your purse. You don't want to touch this dagger. It's evidence, and you don't know where it's been. There is nothing else in Pippin's tuxedo jacket except lint, which you don't need.
You scream like a banshee, lass. Did you kill the man then?
No, I just walked in here and found him.
I suppose that would explain your screaming then. Did you see the murderer?
No.
All right, I'll talk to you later after you've had a chance to calm down. Just don't try to leave the building.
You're doing a fine job, Laura. Having already interrogated the guests, Detective O'Reilly is now discussing the murder with the staff members as they leave the party. It would be best if you don't interfere.
Hi, Miss Bowe. I'm Ernie Leach. Dr. Carrington told me you could stay a while and talk to the staff. I've got to lock the door, so just come and find me when you're ready to leave. Dr. C also has a key, but you don't want to bother him about that.
Thank you, Mr. Leach.
Just be careful where you go. Wolf will get upset if he finds you downstairs. See you later.
Did you manage to learn anything from your interviews, Detective O'Reilly?
Don't bother your little head about it, lass.
It's my job, sir.
This is an official murder investigation, Miss Bowe. Do not be interfering.
Oh, I don't mean to interfere. I just want to know what's going on. Any leads so far?
Dr. Carter died as the result of someone sticking a gift shop dagger in his chest. What more do you need to know?
Well, for one thing, who did it?
Someone who didn't like him, that's my guess.
Brilliant deduction.
If you think that you can do better.
I can try.
Oh, wunderbar. Now we've got the amateurs involved.
I may not be a detective, but I'm terribly clever. I've solved murders before.
Just stay out of me way, lass, and don't destroy the evidence.
Certainly not.
Yeah. Humph.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
Welcome to the Linedecker Museum Dinosaur Display. My name is Rex, and I'd like to tell you about myself. I'm a type of dinosaur known as Tyrannosaurus Rex, which means King of the Tyrant Lizards. Although I was not the largest type of dinosaur, I was the largest predator ever to walk the earth. Some of my friends were 40 feet long and weighed 8 tons, with teeth that were 6 inches long. Your modern elephants don't weigh more than 6 tons. I lived between 250 and 65 million years ago, during a period known as the Age of Dinosaurs, also called the Mesozoic era. The first complete skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus Rex was found just 24 years ago in Montana in 1902. Although there were many meat-eating dinosaurs, I was considered the best killing machine who ever lived. Speaking of which, I'm feeling a bit hungry. Would you like to volunteer to be my next meal?
A fine example of Maximilian armor, made in Germany in 1505. The steel has a characteristic silvery color. Maximilian armor was first used in Milan, which set the fashion for all Europe in matters of dress and armor. The faceplate on the armor is slightly open, as if something is protruding from the inside of the dark helm. The faceplate on the armor is It's Dr. Pippin Carter, famous dead archaeologist. Dr. Carter's skin is cold and disgusting to the touch. He definitely gives the appearance of being dead. Dr. Carter's body has been indelicately crammed into the suit of armor. His filmy eyes gaze in mute shock. His head is bent at an unlikely angle, and the skin is puckered where the helmet's edges bite into the expanding flesh. An empty chest from the 15th century. Although the carvings on the exterior are crude, cut into the wood by someone with little talent or ability for wood carving, the chest now resides in a museum, simply because it's old. Kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
I don't have time for idle chat. Someone got tired of the man's big ego would be my guess.
Any idea who might have killed him?
Anyone who ever met him. Did you talk to the man? He was so full of himself, there wasn't space for anyone else to be in the room with him.
How do you think he died?
You discovered the body, you silly girl. He died because someone stuck a dagger in his chest, which tends to do that to a man.
What happened to his body after you examined it?
The coroner was at the party. Maybe you met him. When he left, he took Dr. Carter's body with him, ego and all. He's got too many brains, that one. He thinks he's better than us all.
This is the door to Yvette Delacroix's office. Thank you for coming to see me, Olympia. This is very nice of you.
You're very welcome, my dear. What can I do for you?
Oh, you see, I found this strange bone, and I said to myself, Yvette, if anyone can tell you what this is, it would be Olympia.
A bone, you say? How fascinating. Where did you find it?
I found it right here in the museum. Here it is, Doctor.
Now, let me see. Ha ha! Yvette, you silly girl. This is a chicken bone.
It is?
Yes, of course. Why, it is still greasy. You got this at dinner, didn't you?
Oh, you have caught me, Olympia. I was playing the little joke on you.
You are a funny girl, Yvette, but I am quite fond of you.
Olympia, we are the good friends, no? I have the problem I wish to talk to you about.
Oh, certainly. What is it?
Come closer so I can whisper it to you. It is very personal, and I want no one to overhear.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Good evening, Miss Bow. Good evening. Dr. Carter's demise was truly a loss to us all, despite his pushy, overinflated, headline-grabbing ego. At least he completed his work on the Ancient Egypt exhibit before he passed on. Dedicated chap, I'll say that for him.
Any idea who might have wanted to kill him?
The man had enemies crawling out of the woodwork, Miss Bow. Practically everyone's a suspect, if you ask me.
Everyone? Including you?
Well, perhaps I should say everyone except myself, since I was at the fundraising event when Dr. Carter was taken from us. Terrible thing, really.
Heavy stone masonry. Each block must weigh hundreds of pounds. Feels like cool stone masonry. It's Barney, Olympia's pet cobra. It's Barney. You decide that's probably not such a good idea. This is the office. The bottle says, Dr. Moribund's Guaranteed Snake Oil.
Good evening, Miss Bow.
Oh, you startled me.
Good. It gets the blood flowing, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose so.
I see you were looking at my snake oil.
Well, I was just looking around.
I'm sure you meant no harm.
What's the snake oil for, anyway?
It repels snakes, of course. Comes in handy when I'm working in the basement. I lost a load of Egyptian cobras down there a few weeks ago, and I occasionally come across one of those little darlings. Those snakes always want to bite me, but I'm sure they don't mean anything by it. It's just their way. They get nervous very easily, you know. Normally, I love to watch them kill things. My Barney will kill anything he can sink his teeth into.
Charming.
Well, I'd like to chat some more, but I've got to rush off and meet that young Steve fellow. He promised to show me his scars. See you later.
It's an intercom slave unit. A magnified intercom slave unit. The skull of the long-extinct horned rhesus, known in academic circles to be the source of much controversy regarding it as evidence for the extraterrestrial origin of primate evolution. A number of hieroglyphics are carefully drawn on the blackboard. A number of There's an array of rare cockroaches in the display case. Looks can be deceiving. It's a rat, ready to pounce. Well, he would pounce if he wasn't stuffed. Dr. Miklos' desk is large and impressive. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's half of the famed Rosetta Stone. The typewriter keys have made clean impressions in the carbon paper, but the letters are unreadable against a dark background. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Backlit, you can read the words typed into the carbon paper. Ernie, Big Al called to see if you could do some fencing for him next week. He says he'll make it worth your while to do a fast fencing job. It's the door to President Carrington's office. You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
Come a little closer, Monsieur Najir. I am wanting to show you something.
And what would that be, Miss Delacroix?
Look at the palm of my hand.
It is a lovely palm, to be sure. But what am I supposed to see?
You see this line, monsieur? It is my love line.
My goodness, Miss Delacroix. It goes all the way up your arm and disappears up your sleeve.
Would you like to see where it ends up, Ramses? Have you ever been to Paris, Ramses?
No, I can't say I ever have.
Then you have never seen the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Well, by all means, let me show you.
Miss Delacroix, please. I'm a married man. Oh, dear.
Have you forgotten who let you into the museum, Ramses? Have you forgotten who showed you the secret room for your little ceremonies? You haven't, have you?
No, I haven't, but...
Then you will let me give you the grand tour of the tower, no?
We'll have to go somewhere else. I don't feel safe here.
Lead the way, monsieur.
Looks aren't the collected catalogues of the Smithsonian Museum. Numerous hefty tomes on the topic of medieval armor. Looks can be. Numerous hefty tomes on the... Don't touch it. Don't touch it. You put your hand in the fireplace. You remember when you were a little girl and used to burn your fingernails off. Unfortunately, except for this little trip down memory lane, there's no other point in doing this. Don't touch... Upon close inspection, you see nothing new here. Upon close... That's not the sort of thing you want. That's not the... Upon close inspection, you see nothing new here. The note is written in a man's handwriting, probably belonging to Dr. Carrington. Don't touch it. It appears that someone has cut the telephone cord, removing any chance you might have had of communication with the outside world. The 6-button intercom allows the president to talk and listen to people in other offices. The sixth... Yes, it's definitely a desk clock. It says made in Switzerland in the fine print on the clock face, which you can barely read due to the glare on the glass. Don't touch it. The stiff quills look especially sharp under magnification. Upon close inspection, you see nothing new here. Don't touch it. Don't touch. Don't touch it. Don't touch. Don't touch. Numerous hefty tomes on the topic of medieval armor. First editions of classic literature. Looks. It's you. Looks. First editions of classic literature. Looks. The collected catalogues of the Smithsonian Museum. The collected catalog. Don't touch it. It's the bookcase. Looks are the collected catalogues. Looks. Looks. First editions of class. Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. A handwritten note attached to the police file reads, "Remember our deal." You pick it up and place it in your purse. By touching the pages of the open book, you feel a momentary connection with the true meaning that the author was trying to impart to you as he cast his words down the river of time to finally wash up against the shores of your eyeballs. You read a police report on the criminal career of one Watney Little, conman extraordinaire. The file contains an amazing list of offences, mostly fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, and various degrees of larceny. Glancing at the top of the page, you noticed that the investigations were conducted by Scotland Yard. You also noticed that the last entry describes Little's recent escape from Dartmoor prison. Clipped to the outside of the folder is a small handwritten note that reads simply, "Remember our deal." Apparently this file was provided in exchange for somebody's silence or service. Countess and Ziggy at 1 a.m. Medieval armor display. Charcoal. You pick it up and place it in your... Although this is an interesting approach, it serves no practical purpose. Using your remarkable powers of deduction, you conclude that this little book contains phone numbers. Phone numbers: T. Dargan, WP 5125, R. Williams, BL 4468, I. Did It, SH 0244, Be Safe, KL 0527, U. Hoser, LI 2077, and Yet, KL 4004, E. Leach, BR 1833. Rubbing the charcoal over the notepad has made the imprint readable. Yvette 8 o'clock Egyptian rum, Tut 10:15 Egyptian rum, Carrington 11 o'clock his office. It's the personal diary of former museum president Sterling Waldorf Carlton. Glancing through the diary and the male handwriting within, it refers to Sterling's growing fear that the Countess only married him for his money and that she could be planning to kill him. The final entry reads, Yvette fears her too. Glancing through the diary and the male handwriting within, it refers to Sterling's growing fear that the Countess only married him for his money and that she could be planning to kill him. The final entry reads, Yvette fears her too. It feels Don't touch it. Don't touch. You touch the intercom unit, completely missing the buttons. And the whole point, apparently. You touch the intercom unit. You touch the intercom crackles and you overhear a conversation.
Oh, I so love your scars, Wolfie. Show them to me again, darling.
They are yours to admire, my Strudel.
Hoopa! Very, very nice.
Yeah, and I have this new bone for your collection.
Ah, such a large bone, too. Where did you find it?
I've been carrying this bone around for years. It is yours now, my Fräulein. You may do with it what you will.
I'm impressed by your generosity, Wolfie.
The intercom crackles and you overhear a conversation.
Oh, my lover, how do you manage to do it so many times?
Sure, and a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
And you do it so well.
Try and keep your voice down, lass. Someone might hear us.
Oh, I do not care, my amour. Life, she is something we only enjoy once.
Sure, and begorra, I do this at least 50 times a day to stay in shape.
50 times, ooh la la. And what do you call this movement?
Sit-ups, lass. I also do 50 push-ups each day, then I run a few miles.
When you press the button, all you hear is static. When you press the button, all you hear is static. You touch the when you press the button, when you press the button, you touch The paper cutter blade looks well maintained and sharp enough to cut through almost anything. A paper cutter with a sharp blade. The light bulb is off. You pick it up and place it in your purse. The sculpture has a beautiful face. Its strong but sensitive lines remind you of Steve.
That's more than a little rude, Miss Bow.
Looking a little closer, you detect a seam along the sculpture's otherwise flawless neck. The sculpture has a beautiful face. You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
Well, lass, we've known each other a long time, and I'm not ready to get married yet. But I know one thing for sure. I love you.
Oh, my great detective, this feeling, it is mutual.
Just be keeping in mind that I'd have to kill you if I ever found out you were sleeping with someone else.
What? Oh, you are to be making the little joke, no? Your sense of humor, it is magnifique.
I've already had one bad marriage, and it won't happen again. It's been a long time since I've been able to trust anyone as much as I trust you.
This is very flattering, my love. I am never to be knowing someone like you either. You are so good and so kind.
Well, I try, lass. I try. It's not easy being a cop in this town. The place is lousy with criminals, even in the police force.
Oh no, how terrible.
Sure, and it's a hard thing when a cop goes bad. I've seen it happen. A cop spends years fighting crime and watching the hoods get rich while he risks his life to make just a few bucks. The first time a cop takes a bribe, it bothers him. Oh, but then it gets easier.
You are such a strong man, my Ryan. You would never be accepting the payoff, no?
Sure, and I'm shocked that you'd even say such a thing, Yvette.
I'm sorry, my love. I should have known better.
You'll have to show me how sorry you are. Kiss me.
Gladly, my love. How can I resist?
A close inspection reveals that this is not real marble. It's an imitation marble invented by Claudius Brutus Apollonius Biggus Blimpus Maximus, known to his friends as Fatus Rotundus. Fatus was ahead of his time, since the world was not yet ready for synthetic marble. Fatus also invented radar, but nobody knew what to do with it. Radar technology was then forgotten until World War II, and Fatus never got any credit for it. Fatus Rotundus died in obscurity, his genius unrecognized. Feels like cool marble. Oh dear, the light bulb blew out. You hope someone will invent a reliable light bulb one of these days. You hear nothing of interest. The door to one of the labs. An office door.
Oh, what are you doing here, my dearest darling? Come here and give me a kiss. Do you know how much I've missed you? What is it, my dear? You seem agitated. Oh, I know what you want. I know, but I can't give it to you. Not here, not now.
You hear what sounds like a muffled groan.
Easy, my love. All things come to those who wait. It will all be taken care of in time.
You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Ernie's office.
Interesting. I never noticed that before.
You never noticed what, my love?
You have a tattoo of the Eiffel Tower on the inside of your left eye.
Ah, you are doing this to distract me, no? But I am worried about you, my Ernie. You are so big and so strong. But this ice pick fellow, he is a dangerous one, no?
Yeah, he's dangerous. But I'll pay him his dough. Ernie Leach always pays his debts.
Maybe you can do some more fencing for this Big Al. He pays well.
Yeah, Big Al's a good customer. But there's only so much fencing I can do for one guy.
This ice pick might try to make the example of you before you can pay him off. He keeps leaving these threatening messages.
Don't worry, baby. Icepick knows he won't get his dough if he kills me. Maybe I can get into a hot poker game down at the Harlem Swinger and win enough money to pay him off.
No. The gambling is what got you into this mess, my Ernie.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But I've got bigger problems tonight. I saw something I wasn't supposed to see.
What?
You're better off if I don't tell you about it. Now, what's this on the top of your Eiffel Tower tattoo?
I think you know what it is, my Ernie. You've seen it before.
And I always enjoy seeing it again, baby.
Ah, you American men are so charming.
Oh, good evening, Miss Bow.
Hi, Dr. Miklos. I'm sorry if I startled you.
Oh, that's okay. I enjoy being startled. And please, call me Olympia.
Okay, Olympia. You enjoy being startled?
It gets the blood flowing. I love it. I was just trying to find Daisy, my ferret. She usually has the run of the museum, but it's time for me to feed her.
And you think she might be in here?
Well, she's been spending a lot of time in here lately for some reason. She probably likes the unusual smells. Who knows?
Can I help you look for her?
Thanks, but I'm sure I can find her. Would you mind leaving me for a while so she'll come out of hiding?
Certainly. Sorry to disturb you.
Sacré bleu.
Hey, you nosy dame, can't you see we're busy? Scram! Are you deaf? Read my lips. Get out!
The glass covering the alcove is marked with the words, "For emergency use only."
Was ist los? What do you think you're doing? There's no emergency here. Nicht gefingerpoken mit der Lantern. Was ist los? What do you think you're doing? There's no emergency here. Nicht gefingerpoken mit der Lantern.
Ouch! It's too far away for you to get a good look at it, but it's definitely cheese and it definitely stinks. The glass covering the alcove is smooth and cool. You pick it up and it's the door to President Carrington's office. It's the door to press. A paper cutter with a sharp. The corpse is wearing a black tuxedo jacket. At the moment it's a poor fit, especially around the neck. Though it hardly seems appropriate, you marvel at the intricacy of the construction. The pterodactyl has been covered with authentic animal hide of some sort, stretched over a rigid framework. There's nothing suspicious about it, however. Your careful observation reveals that this is a rented tuxedo bearing the marks of repeated alterations. There is a stain above one pocket. A whiff reveals the strong, fresh scent of champagne. Close inspection reveals that these rented tuxedo pants have been altered many times. There's a small mustard stain on one leg. You search the pockets and find nothing but the usual lint. You decline to take the jacket with you since it apparently contains no clues and is skewered to the floor anyway. The pants are damp and you're getting much too personal, Laura. You eye this woman with a certain...
Bonjour, Miss Ball. How are you enjoying the museum this evening?
I find it very stimulating.
You be careful walking around in this place with the murderer loose. Stay near the Detective O'Reilly or Monsieur Heimlich.
Thanks, but I can take care of myself.
Ah, but you'll keep saying that until the murderer he kills you. Please be careful. You seem like a very nice young woman. I would hate to see the bad things happen to you.
Even up close, the museum room exudes an atmosphere. Your fingers play gracefully over the You remind yourself.
Good evening, Countess.
Good evening, Miss Bow.
A peek into the mummy case reveals that Pippin's body has been removed. The mummy coffin is made... The mummy coffin... Apparently the shoe's owner stepped in some of the blood. It's an unmarked wood door with faded flecks of white paint on it. Oh no! That doesn't look like a life mask. It's Ziggy's head!
What is going on in here?
I'd say you've got some explaining to do, young lady. Why are you screaming?
I found Mr. Ziggy's head.
Very odd how you are always finding the bodies, Miss Bow. I think we should be going back to my office and interrogating you now.
Here now, Wolf. The young lady just found a man's head. Give her a moment before you get out your thumb screws then.
Thank you, Mr. O'Reilly.
Don't thank me, lass. I'm not saying you didn't kill the man. I'm just trying to restrain Mr. Heimlich's enthusiasm for his job.
But I will get results. Let me talk to her privately.
Now I realize you're just trying to help, Wolf, but I think we can learn what we need from the lass without harming her.
She could lie and you'd never know it. You Americans are too soft on your criminals.
I just walked in and found his head, that's all.
Well, Mr. Heimlich does have his point, lass. It's a wee bit curious that you keep showing up at the murder scenes before anyone else. How do you explain that, then?
Just lucky, I guess.
Well, you do seem a wee bit small to be sawing off a man's head, I'll say that much.
Thanks.
This Fräulein could have had help. Or maybe she's very clever.
Or maybe you're trying to pin the murders on her, so you can find the murderer and save your job, eh?
My job is quite secure, Herr O'Reilly.
Oh, really now? A security chief who allows burglars to steal the exhibits, then overlooks several murders happening under his nose. I'd think twice about your security methods if I was running things here.
This is hardly the place to discuss my methods, Herr O'Reilly. We have a suspect to interrogate.
Correction. We have a murder scene to investigate. We can talk to the lass later when she's had a chance to calm down.
Thank you again, sir.
You're a sturdy one, I'll say that much for you. One scream and you've got your head together again, so to speak. Just don't try to leave the museum.
I can't leave. I'm locked in.
Good. We won't have to worry about you then. All right, Wolf. We've got work to do. Let's go get the crime scene tools.
The red stain on the paper cutter blade could be red ink or blood. Perhaps the last person to use it had an accident? A paper cutter with a red blade. You presume the dripping blood belongs to Carrington, since the porcupine was stuffed. The letters C and P are carefully written in blood on the desk, as if they were put there by the dying President Carrington. Carrington drooled a bit when he died, and his hair could have used a good wash to get all the grease out of it. The glass on the clock face appears to have been smashed during a struggle. Whether it was a struggle to wind the clock or a struggle for Carrington's life, it's hard to say for certain. The glass on the clock face appears to have been smashed during a struggle. Whether it was a struggle to wind the clock, the glass on the clock... The note is written in a man's handwriting, probably belonging to Dr. Carrington. The fingernails hold no clues, but the right index finger has blood on the end of it, although there are no cuts evident on the hand. There's blood on the porcupine quills. From their position in his body, you infer that the blood belongs to Dr. Carrington. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Rigor mortis has not yet begun to set in, allowing the head to move slightly on the neck when you poke at it. Don't touch it. Don't touch the evidence.
Oh, Dr. Smith, I appreciate your help so much.
Well, I don't particularly appreciate giving it. I have things to do, Miss Delafroy. Important things.
But surely you can spare the time to help me move my desk, no?
Oh, I suppose. Why do you want to move it anyway?
Oh, there is a terrible stain on the rug. I don't want it to show. We don't have to move the desk very far.
All right. Oh, it's Sylvie! Oh!
Oh, I am so sorry. Did you hurt yourself?
Yes. Oh no, I'm bleeding. You owe me one, miss.
But of course, Mr. Smith. I'll do anything you say. Anything. Didn't I let you in when you asked? Didn't I keep your secret?
Yes, I suppose you did. And I'm sorry about bleeding on your carpet. At least it'll blend in with the old stain. What is that anyway?
Oh, it is only strawberry jam.
I'm sure I don't want to know that.
Probably not, Dr. Smith. Now, let's go to your place.
This door is locked. This door is locked. An office door. Don't touch it. You don't know where it's been. Don't touch. Don't. Even the dust in this room seems to be... Upon close inspection, you see nothing new here. The intercom crackles and you hear...
Wolfie, it's Olympia. If you can hear me, meet me in the armor room at 2 o'clock. You promised to show me your private scars, remember? See you there, Wolfcakes.
Don't touch it. You don't know where it's been. The red stain on the paper cutter blade could be red ink or blood. Perhaps the last person to use it had an accident? Carrington drooled a bit when he died, and his hair... Neither the fingernails nor the fingers hold any clues. Neither the fingernail... The letters C and P are carefully written in blood on the desk, as if they were put there by the dying President Carrington. The glass on the clock face appears to have been smashed during a struggle. Whether it was a struggle to wind the clock or a struggle for Carrington's life, it's hard to say for certain. The glass on the clock face... You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
Oh, Dr. Smith, I appreciate your helps.
Will I...
But you...
Oh,
Oh, but... Oh,